Morning. So today I'm actually gonna head out to my local yarn shop and buy a set of needles because I've got a new project in mind for this knitting for Olive Pure Silk. I got inspired by an old lady walking by me yesterday on the street, and she had a gorgeous cardigan with a really nice pattern, and I was like, oh, I want to recreate that, but in like a short sleeve blouse button down. So yeah, I just need some smaller needles for that. So let's go. The weather is actually really gloomy today, which is not normal for summer in Portugal. I'm wearing sandals, but I brought an umbrella, so it's really clear. I went into the yarn shop and I got 3mm needles. The lady that owns the shop was there and she's really lovely. She always makes sure to get me the same dialogue numbers because I am just horrific with that kind of stuff. But she always checks that for me, so she's got my back. So that's very nice. After I got my needles, I also went and got a little cheeky shopping from Tiger, basically like a glass jar that I store my teas in. But don't tell my boyfriend about this, and hopefully he won't watch this video and find out. And the plan was to go to Aloma to knit the gauge swatch up, but then my boyfriend called me and asked me if I wanted to have lunch with him. I was like, yeah. So we went to the local restaurant where I started the gauge swatch a little bit. We had some food. On the way to the restaurant, I did make a little video complaining about the prices of my local yarn shop, which I decided in retrospect that I'm not going to include, or I am, but only for the purpose of us laughing at how ridiculous my hair is. But I realized it's completely unfair to compare the prices to here to Norway, because in Norway is such a widely popular hobby, and of course where there is demand there is going to be supply, and then the prices can go down. Here in Portugal it's not as popular of a hobby yet, so it makes sense that it's at a slightly higher price point. But I'm curious to hear your opinion about this. Like, what do you do? Do you always buy from your local yarn shop to support them? Are their prices affordable, or do you just shop online? I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about this. Anywho, I knit the gauge swatch. So this is what my gauge swatch is looking like, and I thought I could use this opportunity to teach you how to do this eyelet mock cable stitch. It's fairly simple. It's just like a 4-row repeat, and all the action sort of happens on this first row anyway, so I'll show you how to do that. You can see we first got 3 knit stitches that I'm gonna knit. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm gonna purl 2, and this is where the action happens. So we're gonna take the 3rd stitch here and expand it and just like throw it over these 2 stitches that we've got on the needle. So we cast off 1 stitch, and then we're gonna knit 1, and to replace the stitch that we cast on, we're gonna yarn over and knit. So you can see that we still got 3 stitches here for that cable. Then I'm going to purl the pearls and knit the knits until we go to the next cable. Here we are at the cable again. We're going to take the 3rd stitch, expand it, throw it over those 2. We're going to knit 1, yarn over to replace the stitch that we threw over, and knit 1. purl 2, knit 3, and then purl 2, and we're at an eyelet again. So we're going to take the stitch, throw it over like so, knit 1, yarn over to replace the stitch that we threw over, knit 1, purl 2, and knit 3. So let's take a look at what we have here. So you can see that it repeats 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And now for the next 3 rows, we're literally just going to purl the purl and knit the knits. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'll see you at the end of that. Okay, now we're back at the very beginning, and you should have done your 4 rows of this eyelet mock cable stitch. So now I think it's time to bind off, and I was thinking that I could use my lazy bind off technique for this. So this is not something that I invented, but it's something that's very easy to do, and at the same time gives you sort of quite a stretchy bind off. So what you do is that you knit 2, and then you use the cast on, and then you just throw these 2 over the cast on like that. Then you knit 1, then we're going to take these 2, do a cast on, and then put the cast on through the 2 stitches. So knit 1, so we've got 2 stitches on the needle. Then we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to bring these 2 stitches over the cast on like so. Let's do that again. So we knit 1, we've got 2 stitches on the right needle, yarn over, and then we take these 2 stitches here with the left needle and take them over the cast on or the yarn over. So we cast them off. So you can see here already what it's starting to look like. It's quite together, like it's not super loose, but at the same time it's way stretchier than just like a regular bind off. So here we are at the end of that. As you can see, the bind off is very stretchy. In this case for the swatch, probably too stretchy even. But it's a very nice method that you can use for the end of sweaters. I wouldn't recommend it for this fabric, but I do like to use it on wool, and then it's quite nice. Another bind off tip is that for me, for instance, I'm a very tight knitter. So if I want the bind off to be looser, I'll go up 1 needle size. And similarly, if you are a very loose knitter, you can go down a needle size when you bind off if you want your bind off to be neater. I'm very excited about this potential pattern because it's just very classic, it's very pretty, it's timeless. I think anyone can wear this and look good. It's just white, so I'm very excited about that. I'm knitting it up in Knitting for Olive pure silk. It's a lovely yarn, but as I mentioned in the other video, it's quite unforgiving, so don't try not to frog it too many times. But actually in the other video I was talking about this, and we all know that this is slightly at a slightly higher price point. At least it is for me personally, maybe it's not for you. But one of my newly subscribers, Emma, she mentioned a yarn that I want to show to you. So basically the yarn she mentioned is called Retrosaria 4. Retrosaria 4, and it's a silk yarn. So if we go here, fios por fibra seda. Okay, it's gonna be the first one here. The second one looks like it's like a silk mohair. Okay, first one, Madragor. Okay. Let me see the colorways. Okay. It looks like these are the colorways. And I'm guessing because when you look at the numbers, there's like a huge difference. So there must be a larger selection somewhere because the largest number here is like 27. But these colors are beautiful, aren't they? And here it says, okay, it's 100% silk. That's good. And it's a 5-ply. And actually the gauge is exactly the same as pure silk knitting for olive. Wow, so that's a really good shout. And on this side it's €5, so that's about half price. So that's a very good shout. Thank you. Exciting to get new yarn on the radar. Now I'm going to talk about my VIPs, my work in progress. It's difficult to say this. The first is my Knitting for Olive cardigan, which I've almost finished. I'm gonna go get it. Can I have this? Can I have this? Quick. Okay, I've got it. Isn't this the cutest ever? It's just so nice. Look at this pattern. It's a gorgeously designed pattern. And yeah, I definitely made a couple mistakes on the sleeves here, but I think I can get away with it when I block it. And I've also got some buttons for it, which are like these pearl flower buttons, like that. You understand the vision here? Oh, it's gonna be so cute. So this is for a girl that is now 5. She turned 5 yesterday. That's gonna be fun. I'm excited to block it. I didn't measure her back and her arm length to make sure that I got that right. And when I'm blocking it, I'm just gonna make sure that the stitches are like nicely stretched out so you can see the petal pattern. But I think it is going to be nice because look here, I sort of stretched it out a little bit. I would recommend this pattern, but with a premise, with a slight warning. It can look very daunting because you have to read from 4 different charts. For the beginning, you need to follow chart A for this front placket bit. Then for the sleeves, you need to follow chart B. For the back, you've guessed it, chart C. And then you go back to chart B again for the sleeve. So the same as before. And then for the front placket on the right side, you need to follow chart D. When I just read, because I like to read through the patterns before I knit them, I was like, oh wow, what is this? What have I got myself into? After like 2 petals, you have memorized it more or less, and then it's automatic and it's really fun and really addicting. So yeah, I would recommend this for sure. My other work in progress is almost finished. So last time I told you about a top that I'm designing myself, which looks like this. And this is, well, I blocked it, so it's more or less finished, but you know how it is when you knit. You try things out and then some things doesn't work. So with this one, I'm gonna frog the end bit here. And I'm gonna do it again because basically what I did here, I did A-line increases. So it slightly goes out, which I don't like. And I did do double knitting at the end here because I wanted the edge to feel heavy so that the garment would have a nicer drape. But as you can see, it sort of sticks out like that, which is not nice. And I tried to fix that with a steamer, but it's still just like, oh, I don't like it. So I'm gonna frog back, as you do, and do it again. I think it's quite normal to when you knit, you make mistakes. You know, we're watching movies when we're knitting, we're chatting with friends. It's hard to be hyper focused all the time. So I think it's very normal to frog back, to make mistakes, change your mind. You know, you try it on and then you're like, maybe I didn't like that after all. It's just that, you know, you need to know that. You need to have that mindset in your head already, because sometimes when you put in a lot of work and then you put it on and it doesn't fit, and it can feel quite discouraging. But then it's important to remember that unless you go back and fix it, you're not going to wear it, and then all your hard work is in vain. It's also totally okay to, like, you know, we get frustrated if it didn't turn out the way that you wanted. So okay, put it aside, do something else that gets you in a different mindset, and then you can return back to it later and fix it. Yeah, those are just my 2 cents that you didn't ask for. I'm getting close to finishing this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to frog back, and I'm not going to have any increases, really, I think. And then I'm going to do a double knitted, I'm going to finish with some double knit folded. So we'll have a nice heaviness at the bottom to create a nice drape. And I'm going to make it into a pattern. So this pattern will be available as a paid pattern on Ravelry in about 2 weeks' time. But I was thinking, as a little thank you to you guys for being so incredibly nice to me after I posted my first video. I wasn't expecting that response at all. It was really nice to just chat with people in the comments, like people from all over the world. It was so nice, so supportive, and I'm really glad that you guys were the guys that found my channel, because it was very encouraging. So thank you so much. So I was thinking to host a little giveaway where basically I'm thinking, if you like this video, comment and subscribe to my channel, I will send you this pattern once it's ready for free. It will probably be ready in about 2 weeks' time, and it is an intermediate pattern, I would say, like skill level wise, because we have the professional cast on, we have the I-cord edges, we have the kitchenette stitch at the end. But I am planning on doing like a how-to video on it in like 1 week's time. So you can, you know, knit along with me, and I can hold your hand a little bit. And I'm also here, like, you can ask me questions and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope that's something that you're excited for. And if this top is not for you, I totally understand, don't worry. I mean, sleeveless tops are not for everyone. And then another one, I'm very excited about this because I love this designer. It's Paula Strickt. And this is her Sabai top. So this is a boat neck top. She has 2 different designs of this. This is number 2, so I'm going for the one without, she has like 2x2 ribbing on the first version of the top, but I'm going for the second one. Is it pretty? And it already has a little bit of chocolate on it, which is very typical for me, especially when things are white. And especially when I think, don't get chocolate on this, don't get chocolate on this. It's just bound to happen, isn't it? But anyway, so this will be a very nice addition to my wardrobe. Classic boat neck tee, has a little bit of positive ease. I think it's 2 centimeters, but I need to double check. So you start knitting in the round, and then you're increasing a little bit on the shoulder here. Then you start knitting stockinette, the front first and then the back after. Yeah, I'm very excited about this project. I really love this designer. She has timeless patterns. You really need to check her out. I actually have one finished object to share with you today, and this is the Julia bag by Mochiknits. And I absolutely adore this. So I say finished objects, but as you see, I haven't woven in the ends yet. but I have been using it for like at least a week. So I usually wear black and white. So for the summer, I can look very boring. Therefore, this little nugget of color is like the perfect addition to my summer wardrobe. You start by knitting the bottom like this with increases all around. And then you start with this pattern, which is sort of like, I can't really remember, but there's some sort of fancy new stitch that I've never tried before. Mochiknits also includes tutorials in the PDF. So everything that you're wondering, like, oh, how do I do that? She has a video for it. I actually acquired this yarn on a trip to Stockholm. And if you've been to Stockholm, you know that people dress very, very well. So I was like spending ages trying to put like really cool outfits together to look my best for when I was there. And I've only been to Sweden once before, but I will definitely be returning to Stockholm. Very charming city, and I was dragging my family with me to multiple yarn shops, and I even discovered a new yarn that I've never ever seen before, and I will definitely be trying that sometime in the future. Let me know if you've ever tried this yarn. They just had the best colorways ever. I couldn't decide on a color, so I didn't buy anything in the end, but I will definitely be returning to their website and I will be purchasing this yarn. So that was the last work in progress that I had to share with you today. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Ciao. Beijinhos.